starting off a little tipsy this week. My husband and I are celebrating 12 amazing years together. We're gonna spend the weekend just kind of vegging, hanging out on our lanai and in our yard with our new patio furniture. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you. And I'm gonna be working on some really awesome projects with deadlines. So let's dive in. Hey y'all, I am Chelsea, the content creator and designer behind Knitting Tipsy, and this week we are gonna work on a project together. This is honestly not what I had planned for this week. I thought that I was going to get quite a bit more done, and I had a whole different idea for what we were going to do, but that did not happen. I had a little dip in the mental health, and that's okay. So we're rolling with the punches. I am playing a little bit of catch up, and I thought this would be a really fun time to take you behind the scenes of my design process. And we're gonna focus on the dress that I am making for my first ever Fiber Festival that I'm going to this month. I am going to be attending the Fiber Witch Festival in Salem, Massachusetts. It is at the end of April, April 24th through the 26th weekend. Because I am insane, I decided that I was going to make myself a dress for this event. Now there is at the Fiber Witch Festival, there's going to be lots of different things. There's trolley tours that are gonna give you tours of Salem. This is also my first time going to Salem. So not only is it my first ever Fiber Festival, but it's my first time visiting Salem. I'm just so excited. So I will definitely be on a trolley tour to get to learn more about the history of Salem. And I love that they organized it for us so that we can work on our projects while we learn. Then of course, the festival itself with all of the amazing yarns, indie dyed yarn and projects. There's gonna be a nice balance between like witchy things and fiber things. I'm really worried for my wallet for this festival because, you know, like crystals and brooms and just so many witchy wonderful things, and if they have just a little bit of, oh, I could use that in my business, isn't it technically a write-off? I feel like it could be a write-off. I feel very Schitt's Creek on this one, but I think I am gonna come back with some souvenirs, some merch, which is great because I'm supporting small businesses and helping stimulate the economy. So I mean, I'm basically doing a good deed. Anyways, there are 2 days of the festival. I will be attending on Saturday, and there's other things. There's going to be tarot classes, and I think there's a class on runes. Lots of really cool things. I will be going to the Fiber Festival on Saturday, and then I'm going to be leaving on Sunday. But I feel like I'm going to be jamming a lot in, and I don't know if it's the coolest thing, but it's very cool. Saturday night at the Hotel Salem, there is going to be the Sea Witch Soiree. That is the theme of this year, is the Sea Witch. And I think there's gonna be alcohol, food, dancing, music, kind of thing. So it's a soiree. And I thought months ago, how cool, I'm gonna make a dress for this. Ask me when I cast on. March 21st. The festival is April 24th. I leave the 23rd. So ideally I need to have this done by the 21st, you know, so that it can block and I can feel good and pack and everything. But today is April 3rd. And I feel good with where I am. So I'm just gonna this weekend take you along on hopefully finishing or getting close to finishing the skirt portion of the dress and just kind of talk you through my thought process. You'll probably see some things my husband and I are getting up to because, like I said, it is our anniversary. We are celebrating 12 years together. Normally every year on our anniversary, we take a trip and we follow the letters of the alphabet. So for our very first anniversary, we went to Antigua. For our second anniversary, we went to Baltimore. Our third anniversary was Cocoa. That was the first year we moved down here. Our 4th anniversary, we went to Dominical in Costa Rica. 5th anniversary was Ecuador. Then the pandemic hit in 2020, and that was our F year. Luckily, we live in Florida, so we stayed home. And then the next year, very pandemic-y still. So we went to the Gulf Coast and had a really nice staycation at a tiny house resort there. H was fun. We did the Hilton hotels. We went from sun up at Cocoa Beach, stayed at a Hilton there, and then traveled. Well, we spent the night, woke up for sunrise, watched sunrise on the beach, and then followed the sun across the state and stayed at a Hilton in Clearwater, which is on the Gulf Coast, and watched the sun set. So that was our H, was like Hilton. We are very liberal in how we're assigning these letters. We are happy to play with it. It does not have to be a country name or a city name. We'll get weird with it if we need to. That was a really fun trip. Isla Holbox in Mexico. J was Jupiter, Florida for our 10-year anniversary. Our Rudy dog, he was getting pretty ill at that point. We didn't want to travel too far. So Jupiter is about a 2.5-hour drive from us, and we had an amazing dog sitter. So we got to go there for a couple of days, and it was fabulous. And K was last year. We went to Kentucky and we did the Bourbon Trail. So you are now caught up on all of our trips. And for this year, for L, we had decided we were going to go to Louisiana and go to New Orleans. We've never been before. We had planned to go at the end of March, but my husband's work got really busy. We hadn't quite planned the trip yet, and we thought, why are we stressing ourselves out? We'll just go later in the year. So Louisiana will still happen, but for this weekend, for our actual anniversary, the April 5th is our anniversary, we thought, why don't we lounge on our lanai? We have a bunch of other L's that we can make happen with it. So our dinner reservation tomorrow night is at a restaurant that starts with L. So it's going to be really fun. We have new patio furniture. I said I will show you. That is my big adult purchase that I'm very proud of. And you'll probably see some of that. I feel like maybe I talked your ear off about my anniversary and stuff, but that's why you're here, right? To listen to me chat. Listen to me tipsy chat. Anywho, let's get into the skirt and the dress. Let's talk about it a little bit. I have shown this in other videos. I think in last week's video, 2 weeks ago video. This is the inspo. This is the little collage, the vision board that I created for my Sea Witch dress. Now, I have veered off course from it a little bit, but I feel like it still holds the essence of what I'm hoping to accomplish with this dress. The yarn that I am using, this is Tropical Yarnie's. This is one of her newer bases, I think. It's 100% Tencel. It is called Tencel Sock. It's 8 ply, 437 yards, and this colorway is light pink. And it is just, I think, such a seashell pink color. And the Tencel gives it a really pretty gloss and sheen. I don't know if that's coming across on my GoPro, but it really does have a lovely one. And I think this color is really beautiful. I have just learned my color analysis. Maybe. I did like one of those elf things. I think it was AI. But you upload like a photo and it tells you what your colors are. And I did like 4 different photos of myself and I got the same color analysis. And when I looked at the colors, I loved them. But I am a soft autumn. I think this is more spring than I think my pink is more of like a rosy pink, but I don't care. I love it. I just like pink in general. That's the oven for the pizza. Friday night means pizza and wine night in our household. I think this color is just gorgeous, and the yarn is absolutely wonderful to work with. I've really been enjoying it. When mid-March rolled around and I realized I really need to get started on this, I had a bunch of different ideas for where to begin. But with most of the dresses and skirts that I have created, like my Les Olas crochet set, like, oh God, what other dresses have I made? Skirts. My Shelia Tankini set and skirt. My Dopamine skirt. And I think I freehanded some other things that I'm not thinking of right now. But I usually start at the waist. That's just, I don't know, it makes the most sense to me to begin at the waist, and that way I can build up if I need to, or I can build down. And I was planning on making this a knit dress, simply for the fact that of the fabric that I was envisioning. I think I have this photo in the collage, but this was the look I was originally thinking, was this tight-waisted but very flowy sheer skirt. And I thought that I could accomplish that very easily with knit. But I also wanted it to be very sparkly, and I wanted to add beads. And try as I might, I did not like the fabric that I was making with knit stitches and the beads that I was using. I think the issue, honestly, is the beads. And I have so many of them, I wasn't willing to invest more money in more beads to see if this would work. When I knew the beads that I had would be fine, I could figure it out. After a lot of swatching and hemming and hawing over it, I decided to switch to crochet. I made a crochet swatch with the beads, and I loved it. I loved it. I was like, this will work perfectly. So that is why the dress is crochet and not knit. If I had more time and I had bought different beads, I think I could achieve a dress like this. So stay tuned for later this year, because I am still going to try to make this dress as a knit dress. But for the only month that I gave myself to make this dress for the Sea Witch Soiree, we're going crochet. I do find it easier to design in crochet because you don't need to plan as much. You can kind of just wing it and add things on. Knitting requires a lot more pre-work. You need to plan a lot more beforehand. And it's definitely worth the effort, but my anxiety kind of took over, and I thought, you know what, let's just go with crochet. That was the reason that it's crochet. And then I decided, instead of trying something different, I was going to stick with something that I knew worked and that I really liked, with a twist. I am using my dopamine skirt pattern that was released last year and is available on Ravelry and in my knittingtipsy.com store. I'm using this, but I'm creating a completely different silhouette than I did with the original dopamine skirt. My idea is a very snug mermaidy fit, so very form-fitting around the hips and the legs, and then we're gonna flare out somewhere between a little and a lot. It's going to flare encrusted with pearls and rose quartz and aquamarine looking beads. And for the neckline, I'm envisioning 2 panels that kind of plunge down in the center, and if there's enough time and yarn, some witchy sleeves. If there's not enough time and yarn, we're just going with the 2 panels. So let me show you how the fabric is looking so far. And if you saw, I think at the beginning of this video, I included a little clip of me crocheting today at the beach. My husband and I went to the beach, the naked beach, which is why I couldn't show you too much else. But that is also the fabric, and it looks really good in the sunlight. But this is where we are. I love her so much. I think it's so pretty. And let me show you, because she's getting longer. This is what it's looking like on me as of today, April 2nd. You can see it's starting to flare at the bottom. I have done some increases. You know what, let me back up. So I have gone for a neutral, slightly, I think I hit neutral ease for my waist and my booty. After I got to, I'll pop in a picture here, to this point where the fabric was below my bits, and I felt like that was a closed enough fabric, I did go up a hook size, 2 hook sizes. I went from an E hook, a 3.5 millimeter hook, to a G hook, a 4.0 millimeter hook. So we increased we increased 2 hook sizes. That already created a little bit more ease, and I went through a repeat or 2 of my beaded sequence that I have, where it's like a row of beads, a row without beads, a row of beads, and then I think 5 rows without, and then I repeat that. So I went through a sequence, tried it back on, and I was like, it's not doing, I like it. It's still, especially or whenever, you get past my hips, I'm a curvy girl, and we got down, but I was like, I think it needs to start flaring out more. So I did start to add some very gradual increases. And then on this last round, I doubled the gradual increases. So it's still not anything super drastic, but I kind of like the flare that we have. Even here, you can kind of see that it's flowing out. I'm keeping the beading. I'm not increasing how many beads there are. The beading is staying the same, and there's now more stitches in between. So I think it's going to end up looking like the beading is a little sparser, which is fine by me as it gets longer. But with the weight of the beads, I'm wondering, do I want to add even more increases? Does it need to be more voluminous to achieve that mermaid effect? Or will it be fine with the amount of increases I have? Because remember, today is April 2nd. The more stitches I add, the longer it's going to take to complete a round. I like how it looks now. I'm willing to give it like another repeat or 2. And then if I need to reassess, try it on and be like, it's just not giving the va-va-voom that I need, then I can either frog back and add more, or I can just add more right there. And we'll go from like this to this is my hope. Is my hope and my plan and my prayer and my dream. So I love how it's looking. It's not super dramatic yet. I think when it hits floor length, like whenever it's touching where, and I'm going to be wearing heels, at least for part of the night, where it touches where I want it to, I think that in of itself is going to make it look more dramatic. But there are some other things that I'm planning to add. I'm going to pop in another picture here. I did some crafts with my friends, Nikki and Mara, a few weeks ago, and we painted seashells with this gorgeous iridescent acrylic paint. And I loved the sheen that it put on them. So for the waistband, I am going to be painting a lot of the shells, the pearlescent and rose gold colors. I might alternate them, hold them up and see which one I like better. Maybe I'll just do one or the other. But I am going to, all across the belt, the whole way around, I'm going to be stitching on these scalloped shells that are painted. I think that's going to add a lot of pizzazz to the skirt itself. But then I did just see, I think she's a sewist, not a knitter or a crocheter, but she makes very intricate costume work. And I watched her do some stringed beads that she hung from her shoulders and from her hips. And it looked like they were dripping down in these waves off of her hips. And I thought, oh, I might be able to do that. So we'll see. I don't know if that will get done this weekend, but you can also envision some like sewn here and then just these like strings of beads and seashells that are going to kind of hang. Remember, I'm very curvy. I'm not like this. I'm like this. That's going to be dripping off of my hips. I think it could be really cool. We'll see. And then I think I've made the decision that I do want this to be a dress instead of a set. I was originally thinking I could make the top separate, but I'm kind of, and every time I picture it in my mind, it's a dress. So I do think the panel work is going to be attached to the waistband, but we're definitely not getting to the panels this weekend. I can promise you that. That will be in another video, maybe just a finished object video when I show you. But I'm really jazzed. I'm really excited. I'm really tipsy. I'm hoping this is coming across well. Now that I've talked your ears off for probably 15 to 20 minutes, I'm gonna go and eat some pizza and drink some wine with my husband. And then I'm going to work on this. Maybe we'll sit outside and watch the sunset. Maybe we'll put on a movie. I don't know. But I'll give you a little looky-loo, and then probably not tonight, but we can check in tomorrow and see how it's going. Wish me luck, y'all. And don't worry, the wine and the dress, never the two shall meet. They will stay far away from each other. beautiful morning out. I know I say this every time I film in the months of March and April, but March and April are my favorite time in Florida. Right now it's, I think, the low 70s. It's about 9:16, low 70s, slight breeze. It's absolutely beautiful. It's gonna climb up to 83 today. And yeah, it's just like perfect weather. Maybe a shower or two, but for the most part sunny and just wonderful. The birds are chirping. This is my happy place out here on the lanai. And we have our new couch. It is long enough for me to lay down and take a nap out here. It's amazing. We previously had a pallet chair. My husband had built it in 2016. We were in our 20s when we moved down to Florida, and it was like a Pinterest thing, and it was beautiful. He painted it orange. We actually still have it. It's just right there. But you know, we weren't ready to spend big money on outdoor furniture, and we were living in an apartment with a small balcony. So he built that chair and we got cushions on it, and Rudy loved to lay on it at the apartment. And then when we moved here, he also loved to lay on it. So I don't know if we'll be able to get rid of it, just from my heart standpoint, but oh my God, this is so nice. Big kid furniture, adult furniture. And the day bed, which we've only had it now a couple of days, and I have sat out on it, but I haven't done it up properly, which is what we're gonna do this weekend. But this is our day bed out here. So it has the 2 ottomans, and Steve wanted the high backs. I was kind of hoping for the low back, but that's okay. It's a compromise. And if you take one of the ottomans and you like make a line out of it, so like chair cushion, ottoman, I can lay on my stomach and tan my back, which that was very important to me. So I do love it. These Adirondack chairs, we're still, you know, we're very slowly curating our outdoor space. But we might actually today move the chair to where the Adirondack chairs are, place the 2 Adirondack chairs in other areas so that it's optimal for sunshine. And in the center, we often put either our fire pit, or I have a little inflatable pool that I like to set up. So I love our little outdoor area. It used to be much pinker and purplier with the Hawaiian teas. We had so many of them. They were so tall and beautiful, but the frost did kill them all. And I don't know if you can see, our monstera plant used to be so like just vibrant, and all of these leaves, many of them died and we had to remove and prune back, but there are several brand new leaves that have unfurled and are looking great. So everything's coming back to life. The most important tree was this palm here, Papa Noel. He is our Adonidia, a Christmas palm, and underneath is where Rudy's headstone memorial is, and we spread his ashes. So I would have been distraught if something happened to that tree. Rudy loved to lay under it, and we just loved spending time in the yard. But you can see there's still a lot of brown fronds that are falling, but there are some green growth too. So Papa's gonna be okay. Anywho, little yard tangent for y'all, but I made some good progress yesterday. My rows are certainly taking longer now. I've increased, let me do the math real quick, like 70 stitches. So they are, it's taking longer, which is fine. I still feel comfortable doing it. I probably got like 4 or 5 rows done last night, and I'm about to do another beaded row. However, sorry if you're like moving, I'm holding this in my hand. This is all the beads I have strung left, and that's not a big deal. It's fine. It does just create a process where I have to cut yarn and thread a ton more beads on, because with the technique that I'm doing for beading, all of the beads are pre-strung, and then when I get to a stitch that I want to use, I move up a bead. I'll show you guys how I do it, but I'm gonna keep crocheting until I'm hoping I can get through that row. I could count and see if I have enough beads, but why spoil the surprise? So we'll see if I can make it through that row, because that would be great, because then after that is a section of 5 rows that do not require any beads. We are getting kind of low on the ball, so I don't think I'll complete all 5 sections, all 5 rows with this amount of yarn. So I'm gonna need to string beads soon anyways and get the new ball started. This will be the 4th ball of yarn for the skirt. We're finishing up ball number 3. I'm kind of hoping it's the last. If I need to dip into a 5th skein, that's fine. But I have 8 skeins total to make with this dress, and each skein is, I believe, 437 yards. Let's see. Yep, 437. So I still feel comfortable. I'll definitely, saying definitely now feels scary, but I should be able to get the panels done without issue with the yarn that I have left. Will I have enough for sleeves? I don't know. If I can get through another beaded row and maybe a few more rows, I also might do a try on to see how things are going. Other than that, today I need to do some purchasing online for swag bag items for the retreat, our Knitting Tipsy Kofi retreat in Cocoa Beach in May. So I'm gonna purchase a few things for that. And I feel like there's something else I needed to do today. Oh, I gotta write my newsletter. That's always a fun task. I've really been enjoying my newsletters lately. Instagram's just not the place anymore. And I feel like even when I go to post, like I do still post and I do still do my stories, but not as often. And I find myself taking lots of photos, but being like, oh, I'll share this with my Ko-fi, or I'll put this in my newsletter instead of Instagram lately. So if you want to see more behind the scenes, if you want to make sure that you're up to date with everything, I usually put either progress photos or my favorite things from the week in my newsletters each Sunday. Make sure you sign up. The link is in the description of this video. So yeah, gonna do that and probably put on a swimsuit and set up the pool and lay out in the sunshine and enjoy some time with my husband. So it's gonna be a good Saturday. Anyways, I'll keep y'all updated.
So much fun.
Best day ever?
Best day ever, yes.
Other than
12 years ago.
Feeling very glowy from the sun, sitting here in my underwear after that try on. I do love it. I love it so much. I have some decisions to make though. I think I filmed a little side video that I'll pop in here in a second, but with where I am at the dress right now, I have finished the 5 in between rows from my beading. I'm a little tipsy again. This was such an interesting weekend to film this, where it's my anniversary and a little tipsy. But anyways, I have finished the 5 rows in between our bead, non-bead, bead kind of pattern there. And it's below my knees. I think it's mermaiding super nicely. I think I have a video here for it. But is it mermaiding enough? Do I need to do some more increases? Does it need more va-va-voom? Also, I think we're going to be good on yarn. I think one more skein should do it to get me to the floor length that I want. But should I go up a hook size? That would make the project go faster with like some taller stitches. And it would also add a little bit more to the va-va-voom, you know, like increasing our hook size. If we did some stitch increases and upped a hook size, I feel like it could look really cool. But with adding that many more stitches, I could either trying to decide if I would add like the 28 that I did the first time or more like the 50 that I did the second. That would be, probably would want to do the bigger number, like as we keep increasing. But then that's going to make the last little bit go a little slower because we'd have more stitches. I don't know. But what we need to do right now we'll make some choices very soon. Probably not right now. Feeling mighty tipsy with the passion ladies and spritzy sangrias that we've been drinking. But what I am going to do is I'm going to break yarn because I need to add more beads. This technique that I am using requires you to pre-string beads, and this is all the beads I have left. Plus we only have this much yarn left. I found out the hard way that some of my smaller beads will not fit over a, I think it's a Russian, is it a Russian knot? Magic knot? It's one of the knots. But it won't fit over that. So I need to cut my yarn relatively close. I'm probably going to cut it like aroundish here. I'll go ahead and do that right now. Ready? Hope that wasn't a mistake. We'll save this for later. But I'm going to go ahead and get my new skein and I'm going to start stringing my beads and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's my little beading setup. I have my fresh skein. I have these really pretty champagne beads. I'm not using the tiniest of them. Am I using the tiniest of them? No, I'm not using these super duper tiny ones, but these are the smallest beads that I am using. And I do still love how they look. I got all of these beads on Amazon. I have these really pretty, like, I would say they're kind of aquamarine looking. These ones are somewhere between like a champagne quartz and a rose quartz. I have pink, rosy, and white beads. These were from Joann's, R.I.P. And these clear crystal beads, if you notice the champagnes, they spilled a little, so we'll ignore those. But I also have these crystal beads, also from Joann's. So Amazon, Joann's. And I kind of just, there's no rhyme or reason to my beading. I just go for it. I tend to do crystal, pearl of some combination, and switch up the white and the pink. And there are various sizes in here. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but this is what I use to thread them all on. This is, it came with one of my beading kits. It's super thin, kind of flimsy wire, but it works really well. I take the yarn and place it through this beading wire. It's hard to do this on camera. I should just look at the wire and not through the camera. All right. So I string the yarn through the bead and then it's just kind of go with it. So we'll do a blue aqua one and then let's do a pearl, pink pearl, bigger pink pearl. I don't even sometimes look when I reach through. And then let's do a smaller champagne. And you know what, let's switch it up this time. Let's do a crystal. One of the clear quartzy looking crystals. These are actually like kind of like an aura quartz. Like they have all the different rainbow colors to it. Do a smaller pearl bead. And let's do a big champagne one. And I just keep going like this. Right now we have this many, but I go until I have like about almost 2 arms length that I string onto this. So it does take me like 15 to 20 minutes, but I string them all on and then I use a magic knot to attach the yarn. So I'm going to go ahead and string it and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. Spent about 11 minutes beading. And I guess this is about what I use because it gets really heavy if you do too many. But at the same time, the more you bead, the less you have to cut your yarn. And especially, well, I guess not especially because I'm doing the same amount of beading. I'm just doing more stitches in between. I'm not adding more beading than there was at the top. So it should be okay. I think this is going to get me through Gosh, wouldn't it be nice if it got me through the end? I'm not exactly sure if that's the case, but it should get me close. Like, it'll get me through the next 2 to 3 rounds. So I am very excited, and I'm going to show you just really quickly how I join the yarns back together and how I add the beads to the project, because it is really simple. So on my right, I have the skirt and my working yarn. So I believe this is called a magic knot, and it's really easy. I use it all the time with crochet, especially. I don't like to use it as much with knit. I feel like, I don't know, I'm just like more nervous that it'll come undone, because crochet stitches kind of tuck it into the fabric more, into the stitch itself. But I like to lay my working yarn first and then the new yarn that I'm joining over top. And I go under and up, and I make a little knot. So you're just going to pull that end through real tight. So tight, 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 tight. Now my skirt yarn, my working yarn, it's going to come under. Oh wait, no, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So it goes under and up, and I'm going to make another knot with this. So this is the working yarn that knots. And we pull tight, tight, tight. Now you hold the 2 ends. So I have in my left hand the new yarn, and my right hand the skirt yarn, the working yarn, and I just pull until the knots come together. And now I can cut this very, very close to the knot, and the knot stays together. So we'll give that a snippy snip. Oop. And this is snippy snip. You can see it's just a very small amount of tail I've left there. And now I have my hook and my yarn. You can see starting way down here is the beads. And I make sure that the 2 beads closest to where I'm working are the bigger beads, because I learned the hard way that the smaller beads do not fit over the knot in case that happens. So I finished on a right side of my fabric. I chain 3 for my first double crochet and turn my work. You want, for this technique, I have found it's better to do the beading on the wrong side, because then your beads end up on the right side of the work. So let's see where I'm going to put 1, 2. I'm going to do 3 stitches and then put the bead on the 4th stitch. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet. I almost got the knot in there. So this is good that I made these beads bigger. And now I'm going to pull my bead up, because this is the next stitch. It fit right over the knot. Brilliant. And this is the stitch that I want to have a bead. So I just tug it as close to the hook as possible, yarn over for my double crochet, and I make the double crochet as if, you know, the bead wasn't even on there, and it ends up on the back of my fabric, which is the right side of my fabric. So I'm going to, oh gosh, I think I'm at like 18 stitches in between or something like that. Give me a hot second to get to the next spot. And the like kind of hard thing, you have to keep scooching your beads down to pull more working yarn from your skein. So it's a little bit of a workout. It's a little bit of a process, but I mean, you saw how long this skirt is. I have not been too annoyed by it, which is nice. I don't have to stop every stitch and get another hook to add my bead, because that is a technique that I have done before. And I think when you're not doing a lot of beads, that's a nice technique to use. And I'm sure that there are many others, but this is what I have discovered is working best for the skirt. I'm going to put the next bead on the next stitch. So I kind of have to find where the beads are. This one is going to be, ooh, a pretty champagne pink one. and I just push it up close to the hook, make my yarn over, and make my double crochet as if the bead isn't there. And now I've got that one on the right side of my fabric as well. And that's it. The easiest beading tutorial ever, I think. I did not create this method, but I also promise you I did not look up a tutorial. I kind of just decided to see what happens if I push the bead up and put it in my fabric. And I was like, oh man, it's on the opposite side of what I want. And I'm like, oh, well, that's easy. The skirt works in turned rounds. I'll just do all of my bead work on the wrong side of the fabric. And I love how it looks. Well, I mean, it shows up on the right side, but like you do it when you're on the wrong side of the fabric. So that is my mini tutorial for this video on how I do the beading. So I'm probably going to pause for tonight because my husband and I have dinner reservations at a fancy restaurant in Winter Park, Florida, which is kind of like a bougie area of Florida. And I'm so excited. I'm going to get all cuted up and we're going to go out, have some wine, have some good food. We're 38 and almost 40, so we probably won't be too late. I'm guessing we'll be home by 11 p.m., which is great. And I'll check in with y'all tomorrow. Maybe I'll put some footage from the date night, but we'll definitely check in tomorrow and we'll make a decision on adding increases, if we're going to increase a hook size, and see how much we can get done tomorrow on my husband and I's actual anniversary date. See you then. Someone cleans up real handsomely.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's right. I clean up nice too.
Yeah, you do.
Are we adorable?
So
Here's our outfit. I feel like it's hard with the GoPro. You're probably getting seasick. We're off to dinner. It is Monday, April 6th. I don't think, did I talk to y'all yesterday? I think I definitely took some B-roll footage, but yesterday was our anniversary and we had a great time. So I didn't do too much filming. I did do some crocheting on the skirt. I made some important decisions and I feel really good about where we are. We're gonna wrap things up this morning so I don't keep holding you hostage on this video. But when last we spoke, I was going to make a decision about whether to add more increases and whether to increase hook sizes. I decided to do both. I did an increase round after the next beaded row and I increased, it was like one bead. So I increased 2 stitches on each side. 1, 2, 3. So that was 4 stitches increased. So that gave me like another 50 stitches approximately increased. And after 2 rows, no, the next row I went up to an H hook and I just felt like it wasn't as dramatic as I wanted. So the past row and a half, I've actually gone up to an I hook. So the H hook is a 5.0 millimeter and I hook is a 5.5 millimeter. So we have now increased from the start of the skirt, which like around the tummy and the waist and the booty and the bits was 3.5 millimeter. And we're now up to a 5.5 millimeter. I think this is going to give beautiful drape and shape to the dress. I'm going to put in a picture I just took, maybe a video, of me trying on the skirt. I'm so glad I made those additional increases. I feel like it's so mermaidy and beautiful. And I don't have much further to go. I do think my next decision going forward, I am probably, I know some people might cringe when I say this, but I'm probably going to give it a light steam block. I know there's a lot of debate about whether or not you should steam block your bamboo and Tencel fibers. I've seen some people who have very strong opinions on this. I don't give a shit. I like to steam it. I feel like it sets the fabric so that a lot of the stretch that Tencel and bamboo can have, you're getting that out of the way and kind of setting the fibers. Because with the heat of wearing the skirt and gravity pulling it down, it would be a bummer to have it dragging on the floor by the end of the night. So I think I might, before going forward, hang it like with a pants hook and give it very light steam blocking, kind of set some of the fabric and see how much we grow. Because I don't know if you can tell in the video, we're getting real close. We're getting real close to the end. And I feel like with how I know the bamboo I'm most familiar with is Trubu. And this is a Tencel, it's not bamboo, but they're similar. I'm not sure how it's going to react with the light steam blocking. So I don't know if I'm gonna get as much growth and stretch as I do with Trubu, but I think that that is a good idea before going forward. So I'm not gonna include that on the video, just in case something goes horribly wrong. I will spare you that heartache. I will deal with it on my own. But yeah, I love how it's looking. It's beautiful. I think I should be able, barring, issues, I think the skirt will get done in the next couple of days. And I do need to still add the seashell belt. I'm going to be stitching all the seashells on individually after I paint them. And maybe some fun beaded additions that I told you all about, like hanging off the hips and stuff. But again, that will definitely, knock on wood, I hate saying definitely, that will get done this week, leaving me 2 weeks to complete the bodice of the dress. Currently, I have 4 skeins untouched, plus the rest of this. I think I will use the rest of this yarn in the skirt and maybe have to get into another skein, maybe not. But that gives me 4 skeins for the bodice, which is more than enough. We may have yarn for sleeves. We may not have time for sleeves, but we may have yarn for sleeves. So we'll see. Your guess is as good as mine. I do both enjoy and fear these fun design projects where, like, I'm not writing a pattern, it's no big deal, but it's fun because, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what's gonna work. And it's also scary because the deadline, but whatever happens, it's gonna be great. I already like the skirt. Even if I stop at the skirt and just go buy a top, like a very flowy mermaidy top to go with it, we'll be good. So, dare I say it's already a success? Because we've had fun, we've enjoyed ourselves. That makes it successful, right? No, it does. But thank you so much for following along. This was quite a tipsy video for me. I haven't had one of these in a while. And I hope it wasn't too cringy, future Chelsea. Hope you're not just sitting there in a puddle of cringe and shame as I edit through. But I really did enjoy working on this and sharing it with y'all. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't so you can see what's gonna happen at the end. If you would like this video, give it a thumbs up. It would mean a lot to me, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.